Well, let's get the public view in Britain. Curti Kerai went to one of London's most celebrated squares, surrounded by victorious military commanders from a previous era, to find out what people think of today's mission in Afghanistan.
I'm in central London in Trafalgar Square, and yet again Afghanistan is flashing on our radars. Let's get public's opinion regarding this. Which countries are involved in Operation Mushtarak?
I believe the forces are Afghanistan forces, American and British forces.
Holland, I believe, England, Britain, America.
The United States and the rest of NATO countries, to my knowledge, and Australia, I believe.
Do you think British troops should be withdrawn from Afghanistan?
Immediately.
Yes, I don't think they're going to have adequate effect there.
Only if there's a secure future for the people for which they're trying to secure territory.
Do you think security is a risk on British streets?
Well, absolutely, because if our troops are over there, that gives a cause to militants over here as well as abroad, and we are just making ourselves a target for no real benefit to Britain. Probably. I'm quite happy with the level of security risk. I just think we're crazy to be somewhere we lost in the 19th century, and we should have learnt a lesson from it.
We are fighting an enemy. Why is he our enemy? Has Afghanistan ever attacked this country? And what we are doing is we are alienating a large Muslim section of the population. That cannot be sensible.
Well, you've heard the public opinion, and it seems like Afghanistan won't be moving from our screens very soon. I'm Curti Kerai for The Agenda.
Is that pretty much the views that you're getting from the public when you're out canvassing?
Absolutely. Probably 3 out of 4 people are suggesting that we should get out of Afghanistan. But the 4th person of the 3 is saying we really need to care about what we've done. It's a bit of a mess. We've actually got to sort out before we leave. And actually some of the people, some of the 3 are saying, look, we're there. We've actually got to try and sort this mess out. Now, it's so much easier to get in than get out in these conflicts, always. And I want to come to the same situation, I'm sure we all do, where Afghanistan is governed by the people of Afghanistan. What's happened in the past is over, but we've got to start from where we are now. And we have got to find a way of trying to make sure that Afghanistan is safe, secure and governed by Afghan people, and at the same time the security threat, me as a former military person would say we've also got to make sure that Afghanistan doesn't pose a threat to this country.
When has Afghanistan ever posed a threat to Britain?
When people from Afghanistan who were trained there actually carried out the Twin Towers. That's why we went in there in 2001. And that was to try and get rid of Al-Qaeda. There are very few Al-Qaeda there.
Bob,
the Professor and I will agree on
Arabs. That. They were Arabs. They weren't Afghans. There were no Taliban in those.
Absolutely.
When have the Taliban posed any threat to Britain? Ever?
Well, the Taliban supported Al-Qaeda. I don't want to go down this too far, because actually I think at the time we acted correctly to go and get rid of Al-Qaeda from Afghanistan, that's correct, and things have got worse from there. It is sad and tragic that we're in a situation where the Afghan government is considered to be so corrupt, and we don't seem to be able to be in a position to do anything about it, so that we can get to the situation where the Afghan people, all the people, can have their version of democracy, which is incidentally probably better than ours.
We're coming to the end of the show, and I want to give Fahim the last word, but before I do, I know that the Professor wants to come in. On the issue of security in Britain, is that a red herring, or are we under any sort of genuine threat by the Taliban?
I do not think we're under any genuine threat from the Taliban in Afghanistan. I'd have thought there's any one group of people in Afghanistan who, if you like, have learnt their lesson not to allow training camps for terrorists, it's the Taliban. If the Taliban ever form the government of Afghanistan again, they'd be very quick to get all those people out of Afghanistan and send them to Pakistan. The real threat, if there is a threat to the British security, as many people have said time and time again, actually comes from the border areas of Pakistan. But we're not proposing to invade Pakistan, thank goodness.
Well, Fahim, Bob keeps saying, you know, what is the solution? What would you say? What is your political party working for towards in Afghanistan?
Well, in Afghanistan, our political party is working towards democratic Afghanistan. This is what we want. But we cannot achieve this aim because there is no justice. We have been made hostage to the human rights violators, to the warlords, to the corrupt officials, and also we have been under continuous attacks from our neighboring countries. They train Al-Qaeda and suicide bombers against us in those incubators. So this is the problem, why we cannot achieve our aims and goals in Afghanistan.
If NATO pulls out, if Obama pulls out all the troops...
Before pulling, as he said rightly, that in 2001 we went there and we removed the Taliban regime. Fair enough, you removed them. But what did you replace them with? They used, as I have always said, I say it again here, that they used wrong tools. And that's the human rights violators, mass murderers. And the majority of Afghan people, they just got back and said, what's going on? The same human rights violators were here.
So what is the end game?
The end game is, it's very, straightforward. This is from Afghan perspective. This is what we say.
In about 20 seconds.
In 20 seconds. Bring the human rights violators, mass murderers, and corrupt officials to justice, either to Hague or another international court of justice. Go to our neighboring countries who are harboring and having those incubators, destroy them, give us development, and we will prosper. You can leave, and we can have Afghanistan safe. We wouldn't allow these terrorists to grow there, and we would have a partnership. And you can do business there as well. We invite you to come do investment in the whole region.
On that optimistic note, as usual, the real enemy on the agenda is time. We've come to the end of the show, so let's go over to James Rawson in our electronic post room for more of your views.
Well, this discussion certainly polarised our agenda viewers, who've spent the last few days debating it online on Facebook. Islam El-Shazli from Cairo in Egypt was overcome by a strange feeling of déjà vu when Operation Mushtarak was launched. He wrote, "It's what they did in Iraq over again. I think there should be another word other than cleansing. There's nothing clean about it." But Tuti Amini was more pragmatic. She said, "It's Western nations doing business as usual. Divide and conquer." While Kashmiri Mo Redskin, now living in the UK, agrees with Tuti. "You're spot on. This is why Russia is very quiet on this war. Because at one time Tajikistan was part of the Russian Empire, and most Pashtuns were backed by the USA against the Russian invaders in Afghanistan. You can call it payback time. The only crime the Taliban and Pashtuns committed was that they did not hand over bin Laden to the Americans." Mo continues, "The Pashtun are very brave people. History backs that. No Western power ever conquered this part of the world. They beat the British Empire, they beat the Russians too, and America will taste defeat soon." However, viewer Nicholas Seidel from Philadelphia in America is having absolutely none of it. Flying the flag for his home country, he asks, "Why such undeserved contempt for a military willing to sacrifice its services and blood to help a community defenseless against the Taliban? I just don't get it." And Amina Husna from the UK points out that the Afghan National Army are in fact mainly Tajiks. This military is worse than the Taliban. The Taliban need to save the community from them.